Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, I want you to think for a second about a diamond. When it's first pulled from the earth, it's rough, it's unpolished, and honestly, to the untrained eye, it kinda doesn't look like much. It takes a master cutter to shape it, polish it, and really reveal its true brilliance. Well, your research is exactly the same thing. You can spend months digging up incredible data, analyzing complex problems, and unearthing all these valuable insights, but if you don't cut and polish that raw information properly, you are literally going to lose your audience. So today, we're looking at the absolutely crucial process of taking that raw gem of research and formatting it into a brilliant, easily digestible final product.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover four main things: the fundamentals of report formatting, perfecting the final draft, navigating citations and references, and finally, delivering an engaging oral presentation.
Okay, let's dive right into Pillar 1, Visuals and Structure, the fundamentals of report formatting.
Now, I know formatting a report can often feel like a massive, time-consuming chore at the very end of a long project, but it is an incredibly important step. Actually, scratch that. It's not just a step, it's the very first impression your audience gets. At its core, formatting is simply the process of arranging your text, your tables, and all those other elements so they're instantly clear and visually appealing. You achieve this highly professional look by using consistent fonts, breaking up those intimidating walls of text with clear subheadings, and dropping the confusing jargon that just alienates people. Use tables and graphs to illustrate your key points. But honestly, the most underrated tool in your entire toolkit? White space. Deliberately leaving empty space on the page gives your reader's eyes a much-needed break. It makes the whole shebang infinitely easier to comprehend.
Think of these standard report elements as a guided journey for your reader. The title page, with your name and the date, that's the front door. The table of contents, that's your map. Your introduction is where you set the itinerary, giving an overview of the purpose and methods. Then, the body is the actual tour, where you present your specific findings. And finally, the conclusion is the souvenir they take home, the real-world implications of your work, followed, of course, by your references.
Moving right along to Section 2, Perfecting the Final Draft, the last polish before submission. Once you've got that structure down, we move into the next phase of our visual polish. This is where your rough draft transforms into a completely error-free, logical document ready for the real world. So here's your rapid-fire checklist. First, ruthless revision. Check carefully for grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Lean on word processing templates to do the heavy lifting for your layout, and definitely follow your specific field's conventions, right? Because a business report looks totally different from a scientific paper. But the absolute biggest takeaway here, never proofread entirely alone. We all go a bit blind to our own mistakes. Ask a friend, a colleague, or a professor for objective feedback, or utilize a professional editor if you can. Getting a second set of eyes is a total game changer for spotting weak areas.
Which brings us to Pillar 2, Credibility, navigating citations and references.
So the crucial point is, all that beautiful formatting means absolutely nothing if your audience can't trust your information. Citations do two massive things. They give vital credit to the original authors, and they leave a clear breadcrumb trail so readers can easily locate those exact same sources. Now, I get it, the landscape of citation styles can feel totally overwhelming, but it really just depends on your field. APA is your go-to for social sciences, MLA for humanities, and Chicago spans both. And then there's Harvard style, which is incredibly versatile across the humanities and sciences. And this brilliantly illustrates how simple Harvard style can be. Just author surname, year, and page number right in the text. Something like Smith, 2010, page 12. Pretty simple, right?
The secret to avoiding that dreaded late-night citation panic? Preparation. Choose your style on day one. And as you gather your sources, take meticulous notes while you read. Literally write down the info and exactly where you found it right then and there. It makes building your reference list a total breeze later on. Don't be afraid to consult your library's citation guides and practice getting feedback early on.
All right, time for a dramatic shift in energy. Pillar 3, Delivery, delivering engaging oral presentations.
We've reached the final frontier. Your document is beautiful, the draft is flawless, citations are locked in. It's time to take this from the written page to the physical stage. An oral report is essentially an objective presentation of your facts using spoken words, and this can be anything from a quick 5-minute team update to an elaborate hour-long client pitch. In this dynamic, you're expected to hold the floor without interruption, and in return, your audience has a very specific expectation. They want useful, timely information delivered in a perfectly orderly way.
If there is one golden rule you need to remember for speaking, it's this: less is more. When you hand someone a written report, the document is the star. But when you step up to that podium, you are the main attraction. The visuals are just your backup singers. Use them sparingly. Speak only when you really have something to say, and make sure your take-home message is completely persistent, from the very first minute to the last. Mastering this performance takes a bit of strategy. First off, know your audience. What do they care about? What do they already know? Tailor everything to them. Ditch the heavy academic jargon and use simple, clear language. Spoken word requires absolute clarity. Practice heavily so you hit your time limit smoothly. And definitely prepare a Q&A list beforehand so you're not caught off guard. Above all, project confidence, competence, friendliness, and sincerity. If you are genuinely enthusiastic about your research, I promise you it's going to be absolutely contagious to the whole room.
Notice the sheer irony here. We are looking at a massive, confusing wall of text that is explicitly warning you against putting too much on a single slide. It's the perfect visual reminder of what not to do. When designing your presentation, never cram too much text onto the screen. Avoid tiny fonts, skip the jarring color combos that physically hurt to look at, and keep it visually consistent. But the biggest pitfall, the absolute cardinal sin we've all suffered through in the audience, never ever just stand there and read verbatim from the screen. You are there to interpret the facts, not just recite them like a robot.
You've gathered the data. You've put in the hard work. By treating your raw research like a rough diamond, cutting it with clear formatting, polishing the draft, securing your credibility with citations, and delivering a killer audience-focused presentation, you guarantee that your brilliance actually shines through. Your report is completely ready to be seen and heard. So the only question left is, the next time you have a crucial finding to share, are you ready to take the stage?